Excuse me?
Call the roll.
Councilperson Colley. Councilman Miles. And let's see, Councilperson Tom.
Tompkins is
Thank you, and Chairperson Zajac.
Thee in thy wisdom and knowledge to guide and direct the deliberations of this council along the path of truth, justice, and righteousness, so that what it decides for the welfare of our citizens may also rebound to thy greater honor and glory. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have Jennifer Lamoy. Oh, yeah, that's it.
This is a little close. No? It's fine. It's never so close to the line. I'm just saying I don't want to be in violation of anything. With respect to the approval of, and this is from the mayor here, with respect to the approval of the contract with Tyler Technologies to purchase record management technology for the NFPD, it's an item for the council action today, but yet city administration is not present. The investment total is $901,700, no, what is it? 901,000 or 901 million? No, 1,000, okay. Excuse me, because I just seen the figures, excuse me. So the three figures added together, $696,270 plus $78,120 and $127,400. Substantial amount. I'm not against this, but at the same time, any items from the mayor, from the city of administration, should be present here to present when you're spending such amount. So, excuse me for the incorrectness there. I would pass on speaking for 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. My big concern here is the resolution. It's number 10, relative to Freedom from Workplace Bullies Week. The concern is, and I've been approached by many individuals, that there's a name on the resolution that's a member of city management, our city administration, and that's our mayor. And unfortunately, it's alleged that he is participating in such inappropriate behavior that name should not be on such. So if and when I was ever a city council member, or I was just informed that I may actually be part of the staff here someday, additionally, that's inappropriate, right? Like if I was a bully to someone, why would my name be on that resolution? So it's a backing. Please understand, as city council members, that you're backing him to pass this through today with his name on it. I'm not saying don't pass through the fact that Freedom from Workplace Bullies Week should be recognized. I'm asking to take his name off because he's not in support of such, because it's alleged, but then it could be hearsay, right? But the point is this thing about hearsay, there's proof to such, but then things are called hearsay. Okay, I have 2 minutes and 24 seconds left. The other concern, I think I didn't write down the figure, but with respect to the life insurance policies for city employees and staff, administration, et cetera, that's a substantial figure. I know there's not supposed to be dialogue, but I witnessed such at the previous meeting. So if you can just state clearly, Chairman, how much is it again that we're paying? What's the total amount that we're going to be paying out of taxpayer money for life insurance policies? It's a big investment. Wow, $93,000. Whoa. I look forward to speaking at for the good of the community, and it will be for the good of the community in the best interest of the city of Niagara Falls.
Thank you. Control support. That's it?
Okay, administrative update. Dan, controller's report.
All right, so what I have tonight is just a couple updates on a few announcements that came out over the last couple weeks. One related to another bond rating agency update, and the annual fiscal stress scores that were released. So a bond rating update. I think at the last meeting, I gave you an update from Fitch bond rating agency and how they changed our outlook. For tonight, a second rating agency has provided an update, and this was with Moody's. And so some good news here. Not only did Moody's change our outlook, they actually gave us an upgrade. On September 28th, they came out with the release where they upgraded us from, this is their rating scales and their definitions, but it was a Baa3 positive outlook was the rating we received last year. Baa3 is the lowest level of an investment grade that you can have with Moody's. They upgraded us to the Baa2 bond rating, and they changed our outlook to stable. So back in 2017, they downgraded us to Baa3, and again, that's the lowest level of investment grade. So this is good news here, going from Baa3 to Baa2, and they referenced in their release, the positive results of managing the budget over the last several years. The administration's balanced operations, earning net income, increasing our fund balance has been a significant positive for us, and conservative from a budget perspective, staying conservative on revenues and seeing the positive results, and again, driving home the fact that the fund balance and the net income that is essentially earned on operations is a key driver, and they see that, and they have updated their rating of the city for the first time in a number of years, and you can see we've been at that Baa3 rating since 2017. So positive news here. That, I don't have it off. There's S&P, Moody's, and Fitch are the three bond rating agencies. So Fitch, we just went through and they released, and now this is Moody's. I would have to double check to see which triple B negative. It's either S&P or Fitch, but I don't believe Fitch we're at that level. I would just have to double check.
Because I'd like to see if that actually changes.
We're actually so we've gone through two. Our third one is coming up with S&P, so that'll be coming soon. So we've gone through the two. S&P, yeah.
Dan, stable outlook, how does that compare us in terms of other communities in Niagara County or even in Western New York?
I would have to check. In terms of, if you're looking at other Niagara counties like North Tonawanda, I'm not sure where they rank in terms of their ratings. I can look into it and see.
Does the ARP funding play a role in the net positive income that we generated?
It's really it's a combination of everything. You know, they look at general fund, all of the funds that we have with the city. They look at the casino status. They look at the ARPA funds. How are those funds being used?
Okay.
So it all plays a role in their ratings.
Dan, just to follow up what you said, so our tribal fund plays into that rating? So since we've been getting the money back now, it plays into our rating going up or down a little bit at some point?
Yeah, it does. For them, they also look at what's the reliance on the tribal revenue in the budget, and they see the gradual decline that has been happening over the last couple of years.
So the amount we get, does that affect it at all, or is it just how we spend it, like in budget-wise?
Again, it's a number of different factors,
Okay.
and obviously looking forward for what that might look like as well
Okay.
is a factor in their ratings as well.
I think because the only thing that I'm really looking at is the fact that, like, when we're talking about our tribal budget, and when we're talking about, like, all of the different assistance that we have been getting over the last couple of years when it comes down to, the ARPA funds, if those things are not lifetime guaranteed, you know what I mean? At some point, these ARPA funds are going to run out. So are we stable? Because that's why I'm not too excited and giddy about like the changes that's happening right now over the last couple of years. Because the last couple of years we've been getting some assistance we've been putting certain things that we would have had to pay out of our budget on ARPA funds or on some of the tribal funds. But in the event that those things begin to run out or the contract dies out again and we find ourselves in court, will we be back at square one again? Will we be back at a triple B negative, rating because I think that was our mistake before. I mean, it wasn't ours because we weren't on council, but our mistake is we were so heavily reliant on, our tribal funds, and we were so, heavily reliant on things that are not just naturally reoccurring funds that we actually have. We haven't been really good at creating a revenue stream to kind of keep us above ground. So,
they were glad to see that, unlike some other municipalities, specifically from an ARPA perspective, that we aren't using that to offset revenue losses in our budget. That these are all just basically capital projects, some of which we're investing in projects that the intent is to reduce our costs going forward with certain upgrades. They were. They're glad to see that that's we're not just plugging budget gaps with the ARPA funds, and then when it comes to special projects, essentially those would be projects that we would likely need to go to the bond market for, and with these upgrades, that the hope is that in the future when we do need to go to borrow, we'll get a better interest rate, and that is obviously the hope. The lower the interest, the better it is for the city. So, the other item is the fiscal stress designation, and just for everyone, just a little background on this, if you're not aware. So the Office of the State Controller uses the fiscal stress monitoring system to examine the annual financial information that is reported by each municipality. The analysis provides an objective assessment of the fiscal challenges facing each local government and school district, and identifying situations where corrective action may be needed. They come up with different objectives and indicators, and a score is given for each. And then at the end, of all the objectives, of all the indicators, they arrive at an overall score for each local government and school district. There's different classifications that they give based off of the score. The scoring system is based from 0 to 100 in total. So there's classifications of significant fiscal stress and moderate fiscal stress, and those are developed so that a differentiation could be made between units or municipalities that were experiencing fiscal stress but with differing levels of the severity. There's a classification of susceptible to fiscal stress, which was developed to denote entities that are exhibiting some signs of fiscal stress, but to a lesser degree than the moderate and significant stress categories. And then there's municipalities that do not accumulate the number of points that would be needed to be given a category, so they fall under the category of no designation. The significant fiscal stress is if you score 65 or above to 100. Moderate is if you score in the 55 to 64.9 range. The susceptible to fiscal stress is in the 45 to 54.9 range. And then there's no designation if your score is below 45. So here you can see I go back to 2017 through 2020. You can see the significant fiscal stress scores that we had in each of those years. And then, coming out of COVID, 2021, 2022, you can see the significant improvement in our scores. And the 2022 score was just released, where we are at 34.6, which is an improvement off of last year. And last year, we improved to the point where there was no designation based off of their key indicators. So, more good news here. Again, building off of the bond rating agency updates and this, from a fiscal budget perspective, more positive news here when it comes from the State Comptroller's Office and their ratings. And this is on the State Comptroller's website. This is where you can actually see, Councilwoman Bax, had asked about other municipalities. You could see how everybody else scored and where they ranked. You can see everybody who, municipalities and school districts, sort of how they do. That's it.
You go to the Olympics, you got 5 judges, they rate on speed and accuracy. Do we have that kind of, that data is on the site, or do we have it?
The significant categories are really related to fund balance over a number of years, your cash balance over a number of years, how you do with your results of your operations over a number of years. So those are some of the key indicators. But I believe on the website it kind of goes into detail. There's a lot of information out there that kind of explains how they do it and how far back they look. They don't take just 1 year. They look at, usually it's about a 3 to 5 year average to see how they do. Then you come up with a score, and that score gives you a number of points, and then for each of those categories. Yep.
Niagara is doing a Candy on the Commons community Halloween party. That's going to be October 20th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We'll obviously have another council meeting before then, so we'll remind everyone, but Candy on the Commons at the aquarium, October 20th, 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m.
I guess this Saturday, Martin and Wilson Day, Love Park, 12 to 4, rally for gun violence. Big name here in the local community, as well as international.
Okay. Review the agenda items, please.
Agenda item number 1. Thank you. City clerk. Excuse us. Okay, so agenda item number 1. Agenda item number 2.
American Rescue Plan Fund has been spent in the police, and it was 11 million at one point. Is this a part of that same 11 million or so that we had allocated out of the American Rescue Plan Fund at that point in time? Or is this an additional, like, is this a new kind of pull from the American Rescue Plan?
This, in terms of
They had an overall of how much we were spending. Yeah, like out of the breakdown, they had an overall of how much of American Rescue Plans we were spending on our NFPD and whatever else. And it was like I want to say at one point, I remember it was like 11 million or so that we had set aside for the police department. Is this right here, these technologies, is this a part of the initial 11 or however many million that we already had set aside for the police?
There was some funding that was left over due to cost underruns. This amount is in addition to what was in there. So there was one item that came in under, and so essentially, the estimate for there, this is kind of making up that difference.
So it would fall in however much that we already had allocated for
Yes.
the NFPD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great feel-good motivational story for all of us to work hard and be better. So I think this is a good event. It's great. Next round, though.
What's that? No, we can speak on it. Oh, yeah. As as a lot of us know in council, we check out these spaces, and from my knowledge, the owner of the home that is next to the land that he wants to purchase, the house is boarded up. And for me personally, that's definitely not a good look to ask for more land or ask to purchase more land unless we see that you have something planned and already in place for the space that you already own. So if you already own a space and that space isn't up to par, I don't see why would you come to council and ask us for any more money, or not ask for money, ask us to be able to purchase more land. So if there is, so I'm definitely going to be voting to table this item as well, because if you're not up to par with the land that you own, you shouldn't be biting off more land. So that's my take on it. If it's not together, then don't ask for anything else until you get your stuff together, because I'm quite sure I'd be looked at the same way.
Council item number 5.
This is an agenda item that I definitely am excited to vote on, because this, in my opinion, is the exact opposite of the last item that we just did. Because the property that's here, beautiful, very homely, very nice. Had some time to spend with one of the owners here, and I'm glad the council can get behind this one, and I feel confident with this one. I'm excited to see what they do with it, because I think it's going to be great and better for the city. So.
Council item number 7. 6, excuse me. Thank you. Okay. Council item number 7. Council item number 8. Council item number 9.
This amount is more than $15,000 less than that of our current insurance policy and limits. So just to point that out, Mr. Mayor.
The policy right now, called Unum, is 50,000 more than what the Hartford is proposed to pay for next year. Additionally, Unum is going to raise our rates 56%.
Okay.
So not only is it
Upfront savings.
money, but it's obviously will be increase that we'll be experiencing next year.
Oh, so that makes it even better. And from what I understand, there's no changes to the policy inclusions, correct?
It's exactly the same.
Same policy, right? Okay.
Council item number 10. Council item number 11.
Sort of learning, and you read this and you see that the budget should be submitted on the first working day of November, and you go to the charter, you may see it still says the first day of October, and there may be someone else confused like I was, because I definitely was confused, and to me, I immediately thought that's not good governance as well. So there is a delay between the charter and the resolution that was passed in 2021. So fear not, that I expect that to be changed as quick as possible. Even still with that, I still think that process should start in October, because that's more time to review the numbers. November is a busy month. That's my favorite month because Thanksgiving is in that month. I love to eat. If anybody knows me, my family will tell you. And then travel. So, but the correction will be changed and to show that the charter should start in November. Thank you.
Item number 12.
You know what? So, cancel certain back taxes on certain vacant parcels. Is that, I'm just, so I can just kind of get an idea, because I want to make sure that I'm understanding it. How do we come up with which parcels that we're choosing, especially when there's back taxes that are owed on them? Is this are we excusing those people who owe taxes on?
Basically, we still own all this money.
Okay,
The issue there is various times the city's acquired those properties, so we don't have to worry about it. Those are all vacant properties.
Right.
Usually they have demolition charges, a lot of them have demolition charges, things like that. So you're going to have tax arrears, and some of them are going to be $50,000, $60,000 less. And the whole point is, with regards to that program, we were trying to create a situation where people can purchase a property that's next door to them, that's vacant. So they buy that property and amalgamate that piece into their footprint.
right.
So in essence, put that back in the tax rolls. These are properties that they're virtually unmarketable. They've already passed through NREMs and they haven't sold, and so this is the opportunity to try to do that. So by forgiving this taxes on it, and the county's already done that with regard to this program. But with regard to that, it would, as an incentive to purchase those properties, we can do that and hopefully get it back in the rolls and actually, for the public good. Right now, they're just a liability for us because we have to pay for them to get grass cut. There's insurance issues, liability issues that are out there possibly as well. So by transferring, to get him out of the city's hands and into the private citizens' hands is much better for everybody. So.
That are already kind of bidding on these?
Right, we've already gone through the program, there's a number, it's over, probably about 26, 27 of them.
Sure,
I don't know exactly which properties, so it'll depend on which properties they buy, which ones are actually going to be forgiven. So. That's not an RFP process. We've already sent out, we've already went through a process where we offered them to certain people that fit a criteria, they're up to date in their taxes, things like that. So it's in a process now that if you guys vote on this and pass it, there's going to be a situation now that those people can move forward on the purchases for these properties.
Those are properties that are adjacent to the, okay, perfect.
They have to evaluate those properties into their footprint, so, again, so.
Does the city try to sell them or sell them at auction? Okay, gotcha. Okay, let's call for a vote.
Sorry, yeah. I will, thank you. City Clerk's report for the month of August 2023 is received and filed. Excuse me. Okay, so council item number 2, approval of the contract with Tyler Technologies to purchase record management technology for the Niagara Falls Police Department. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley? Yes. Councilmember Miles? Yes. Council Chairperson Zajac? Yes. 4 yeas. The item has been approved. Council item number 3, approval for dedicating the 1300 block of Calumet Avenue as Eddie L. Palmore Drive. Councilmember Bax? Yes. Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Council item number 4, approval of the sale of 432 13th Street for $5,100 to the Niagara Falls, New York, NFY NY, Inc., Muhammad Usman, President.
I want to make a motion to table it until we get more information as to what he's doing with this property that he owns.
I'll second.
Okay. Councilmember Bax?
Yes, I will support tabling it for more information so we can make an informed decision.
And Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac? Excuse me, Councilperson Miles?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilperson Zajac?
Yes.
All right, 4 yeas, the item has been tabled. Thank you. Okay, council item number 5, approval of the sale of 401 Ferry Avenue for $1,000 to Stephen Simpler and Andrea Simler DeGolier. Councilmember Bax? Thank you. Councilmember Cawley? Yes. Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 6, approval of the sale of 1317 Linwood Avenue for $600 to Daniel Paul Neeple. Councilmember Bax? Yes. Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Councilperson Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 7, approval of the contract with the Mamie House LLC, 225 2nd Street and 238 3rd Street parking lot. Councilperson Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley? Yes. Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 8, approval of installation of security lighting at the Niagara Falls Veterans Memorial Hyde Park. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Macaulay?
Before I vote on this, I just want to say whoever has been doing that, I think we as a community should come together and stop that kind of stuff and bring those people to justice, bring them to accountability. Unacceptable, disgraceful, and we shouldn't be, it's intolerable. We shouldn't want this. So I've heard the complaints personally, myself actually, and we can do better as a city. I know we can, and let's work together to do that. So yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 9, approval of the contract with the Hartford for group life and accidental death insurance. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 10, relative to Freedom from Workplace Bullies Week by Mayor Robert Restino. All council members. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley?
To the youth out there, I see a young man over here. Never be afraid to stand up to bullies. Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
And pretty much to echo and kind of piggyback off of that is the fact that we definitely need to recognize it, and it has to be done from every area as well, including this city hall as well. We should not at all, at any given point, have to deal with bullying in any manner, honestly. So for that culture, I vote yes.
Thank you. Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item 11, relative to scheduling a public hearing relative to an estimate of the amount of necessary to pay the expenses for the recycling and refuse program for fiscal year 2024. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the council item has been approved. Council item number 12, relative to authorization to cancel certain back taxes on City of Niagara Falls vacant parcels. Councilmember Bax?
Yes.
Councilmember Cawley?
Yes.
Councilmember Miles?
Yes.
Council Chairperson Zajac?
Yes.
4 yeas, the item has been approved. Thank you. Yes, so we have one speaker, Jennifer Lemoy. I'm sorry, is it Janet? No, it says Jennifer. Let's see. It says Jennifer. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Can you go back to 5 minutes, please? I'm losing seconds. Personally, for me, it's not political. It's inspirational. It's what's in the best interests of the people. Honestly, honorably, and independently, constituents need to clearly comprehend the English idiomatic expression sea change and the concept behind being intentionally overlooked and considered irrelevant. Nowadays, people know the price of everything and the value of nothing. Suddenly, this evening, we just found out that our community has funding money left over. Wow. On the drive over, I kept telling myself, if you aren't going to say exactly how and what you feel, you might as well not say anything at all. City Council must first and foremost worry about our Niagara Falls community, not other communities. They don't care about us. Always stand up for what you think is right, even if you are the only one standing. What a turnout tonight as City Council votes on substantial amounts of money. Friends, I learned a lot throughout this process. F, fight for you. R, respect you. I, include you. E, encourage you. N, need you. D, deserve you. S, stand by you. Sometimes you need to give up on people, not because you don't care, but because they don't. How convenient to mention the bond rating update. At times when certain situations occur, I choose to play stupid. But trust me, I know everything you think I don't. Those who judge will never understand, and those who understand will never judge. If I walk by myself, at least I know I'm with somebody I can trust. The common and continual mischiefs of the spirit of political parties serves always to distract the public councils and enfeeble the public administration. Historians recall George Washington's quote in his farewell address on September 19th, 1796. With respect to the upcoming elections, constituents pray that candidates be strong but not rude, be kind but not weak, be humble but not shy, and be proud but not arrogant. I am in competition with no one. I run my own race. I have no desire to play the game of being better than anyone. I just aim to improve, to be better than I was before. That's me, and I'm free. For the good of the community, standards need to be raised and voices need to be heard. Letting people be wrong about you or a situation while keeping your peace and focus is the most misunderstood power move you will ever make. When you truly don't care what anyone else thinks of you, you have reached a dangerously awesome level of freedom. In fact, the strongest are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know absolutely nothing about. You learn nothing from life if you think you're right all the time. Do not get upset with people or situations. Both are powerless without your reaction. Stay away from people that act like a victim in a problem they created. People who feel the need to control others don't have control over themselves. If you have to hurt other people in order to feel powerful, you are an extremely weak individual. I pay attention to actions, not words. I heard what you said, but I see how you act. Self-control is strength. Calmness is mastery. You have to get to a point where your mood doesn't shift based on the insignificant actions of someone else. If you knew what was said in your absence, you'd stop smiling with a lot of people. Do the best you can do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. If you want to know someone's mind, listen to their words. If you want to know their heart, watch their actions. Ships don't sink. I was going to mention this initially, so if we can go back to a minute, because I had a minute left. Who said that? You did? Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. Excuse me, take my time. Okay. I wanted to point out that because I was going to state that I thought she was going to state that with the 1 minute, and he said I can take my time. So I just want to say, you're the woman that grants the FOIL request, correct? Aren't you the woman that grants the FOIL request? That's right. I just wanted to point that out. This is the woman. Yes. Ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. You see, people? You understand? Don't, okay? Yeah, because you're new here. I'm not attacking you. Please don't think that, okay? That wasn't meant for you. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. If you have to hurt other people in order to feel powerful, you're an extremely weak individual. He said I could take my time. Thank you. I'm almost done. You had just stated on the record here. I thought you had stated you're taking your time. You should have corrected me at that time. I'm just trying to make a point here that you're prepared to come and speak in front of city council, and no one wants to hear you. I know the rules. Well, I know that when someone has a resolution and their name's attached, they should be present. You didn't even say why Mr. Tompkins isn't here. Ms. Lemoy. Thank you, Ms. Lemoy. Yeah.
I think it needs to be stated because it's time to get out in the open again for me. This may be for the Express, maybe for the Gazette, maybe for the people on Facebook, anyone else who didn't listen to what I said when I first voted no against the item in regards to the GiveX initiative grant. There's 3 things that came together on that grant. Number 1 was the youth. I want to save the youth from our streets, from these streets, from streets all over, anywhere. And not just gun violence, substance abuse, family violence, anything and everything that stops them from having a future where they can take off like a jet instead of being held down like an anchor. That's number 1. I care about the youth. There's no question about that. None. Dare you question if I care about the youth or not. I double dog dare you to do that. I recommend don't. Number 1 is the youth. Number 2, the Niagara Falls Police Department. I love the men and women of law enforcement. I back the blue. You can't love them and support them more than I do. You may love and support them as much as I do, but you cannot and you will not love and support them more than I do. No question. The work that they do day in, day out. They have families. They have husbands. They have wives. They have kids. I want them to get home to see them. So I care about them. So I didn't vote no because of that. Number 3, taxpayer dollars. Not just the dollar, not just the quarter, not the dime, not the nickel. I'm talking about the penny. I got pennies in my pocket right now that I still spend. I care about my pennies. I care about your pennies. Every single penny I care about. So I did not vote no for any of that. Why did you vote no then? For the 4th thing. I don't like paying consultants for nothing. For wasted time. We've had program after program, wasted on paid consultants. And administrative leadership. I want leaders that's in the fight, on the battlefield, not checking the box, not saying, oh, look, we gave this positive action, but there's no results, no accountability, no transparency. We don't know where the money's going. After the money's spent, after more kids have died and lost to the streets, we still ask the same question. Where did the money go? Where did it go? Why did it go there? That's why I voted no for the GiveX initiative grant. I don't like wasting money on things that don't produce our taxpayer dollars. I care about every penny, no question about it. I care about the youth, no question about that. I care about the NFPD, no question about that. But I hate wasting money. I hate programs that don't work, but I want results, transparency, honesty, and accountability. Thank you.
As I once said before, because I want to definitely, because we both were in the paper for it, of course. So, true story is this, for something that's given annually, I like to see results. I like to see results, and not only that, because I don't believe in doing anything and just, even if it's free money, I don't like to see anything done that doesn't have results, that we can't tangibly see. And when, I made mention at last city council meeting, and then we can make sure you guys record this, what I'm saying today, is that, I reached out, again, to our local PD, the leadership. I'm not talking about our local police officers. I have great relations with a lot of them. Have nothing against those, because guess what? When we need them, we call them. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. True story is that the level of community engagement that they said is a part of this grant, that is engraved and weaved into this grant, has not been utilized when it came down to those groups of us in the community that actually reached out to leadership, not the police department. Talking about leadership, and when we talk about leadership, and let me just make this really clear so we can understand, because it is, this circus of the campaign season, right? So when we have, because I get the calls all the time, where it's DPW, whether it's code enforcement, whether it's the police department, all of these different departments, because a lot of times you might reach out to some of us, and we don't have control over the department heads. Let's make that clear. I'm glad, hopefully it's being recorded on these cameras. We don't have control over these departments. The department heads are appointed by who? the people who aren't here tonight. So my issue is that when people are here addressing us, I understand your concerns. I understand the frustration. The problem is you're talking to the wrong person. The problem is that the people who actually put the leadership, the heads of DPW, the heads of code enforcement, the police chief, the heads are not present. That's why I fight again these special meetings that doesn't allow that podium to be here, because y'all sometimes need to be able to get answers from those people who are appointing those who are in charge of the day-to-day. The head of DPW, the head of code enforcement, the chief, they're in charge of how these specific spaces operate. So when we're not getting grass cut in a decent amount of time, or when there's potholes that are not being filled in the road, when there are trees that are still on a 13, 14, freaking 15-year wait to even get cut down, all of these different things, there are department heads that we have absolutely nothing to do with who's placed in that and who's going to operate the day-to-day. So, unfortunately, you're not going to really get that great of an answer from us, because we can't make it happen. We can't directly, personally call a department head. As officials, as city councilmen, we have to go through the whole red tape of the administration office and all of that other stuff to even talk to them. We can't call on your behalf. Not really. Some people might have a little access, but not really. So overall, we understand the frustration. I'll speak for myself. I'll let everybody else talk for themselves. I understand your frustration, but you're barking to the wrong person. I think we need to hold people accountable. Accountable. No, they don't have to be here. Now, the charters, they don't have to necessarily be here. However, morally, they should. And I'm speaking to you from someone who represents you. So that's me. I'm speaking, yes, morally, our administration, because we don't get administrative updates from the administration. You're not the administration, that as a whole, that should be something that we should be focused on. So that's the frustration. And guess what? And I'm not mad. When I leave here, I'm going to decompress and I'm going to go home to my family. And I'm going to breathe and I'm going to be okay. I'm all right already. But the thing is, I have to make things known like that, because what happens is the fight that we continuously get from the calls that we get, and then we come here and there's such a level of expectation, and then there is a idea written in our newspapers and stuff about certain things that we do, and the people don't really have a complete, clear understanding of what it is that we have. And we all got lives. We all got lives. This is not a full-time job. And trust me, all 5 of us that sit up here, you better believe we're not up here for the money, because the money is nothing. We don't get paid a lot of money, just in case for those people who may think that city council, you're a city councilman, no, this position is not a pay, where we're sitting here with our palms greased. But when it comes out, I'd rather be effective and efficient. So effectiveness means when you're here and you're addressing us, when you're addressing us about situations that's dealing with, our portions of the government that we don't appoint, let's begin to start focusing our attention, some of this anger, because you're addressing the city council. But at the end of the day, let's make sure that everybody is held accountable. Because I'm not going to sit up here and keep taking smoke and someone cannot be here all the time, for the most part. So that's coming directly from your city councilman, Councilman Dante Miles. I'm not here for it. I'm just here to let you know. And I rather, it's about a level of just education and understanding. to let you know that, listen, there's a lot of things that, we are not really responsible for. It ends up at our desk. And sometimes we got to do things like we did tonight, like table certain agenda items. Because it's like if we don't have enough information, that happens. We'll get our agenda items and the supporting documents probably a Friday and Saturday or whatever. We have a weekend and a couple of days to kind of try to go over this. And sometimes it's 30, 40 items and we have to go over it, right? Try to comb through it as much as possible. Most of the stuff is brought to us, not from us. And we have to make decisions. Just want to kind of like let y'all know that it's totally different. A lot of times it's not what you think it is up here. You know what I mean? We try to do whatever it is that we try to do. I try to vote from my heart, from my head, and being able to listen, because y'all know I used to pound that podium years before I even started, as a city council, before I even ran. I didn't even think about running. I just got tired of the same stuff that y'all tired of. And that's why I listen. That's why I care about that. I care about that podium. Means a lot. I ain't mean to take up a lot of y'all time, but I get what you're saying. Because it's a lot of times we'll vote for something or we'll vote on something, and the narrative of why we voted on something gets construed and gets turned and gets twisted. When we have we have family. We have a family. We have concerns. We have safety concerns. What is this? It's police. How dare anyone try to make us seem like we're against the police? Or as if we don't care about our local PD. Like, we've been a firm supporter. I talked about it tonight, because just in case if somebody got a pen and paper and want to talk about me actually asking about the $11 million and all of that, I asked because that's our job. It's specifically our job to make sure that we're spending our money fiscally, that we're fiscally responsible. It's not about who we're cool with or whatever the case is. We just ask questions and then we vote accordingly. And if anyone, and like I said the last time, and this goes for anybody who has any questions or issues, I'll talk for myself and I'll let anybody else speak on their own about it. If you have an issue or a concern about any vote that Dante Miles have voted on, please come to me. If they, because I keep hearing they. If they come to you about anything I voted on, tell them to come to me. Talk to the horse's head, not the horse's. That's all I got to say. I
definitely second that last one. Sure, because come talk. I'm right here. I email, Facebook, I'm everywhere. Not hard to find out. Vincent, why did you say that? Why did you think that? What were you thinking? But lastly, I talked about the problem with the Give Initiative Act grant, whatever you want to call it. But I want to talk about solutions. Two things. Number one, that money didn't put bodies on the street. If we have a shortage of cops, man, we should be getting money, and it should help us put more men and women on the street and sustain that type of support. Number two, for the youth, if you want to talk about community centers, recreation centers. You want to get our youth off the street? How about we have some programs, that after school programs, we get them engaged, we get them playing sports, we get the church league back, we get the bidding league back. How about a cyber cafe where the kids can come and play video games for free or for a nominal fee, or if they're doing good on the report card. If you got a B or an A, you can come on in, you get free time to play a video game. You get free time to use the internet or to play PS5, play Call of Duty. How about we do stuff like that for the kids to get them off the street? So that's what I'm talking about, the solutions. The problem, but I'm all about the solution. So that I'm serious with this time. Thank you.